Hello everybody, welcome to Also Rusty Buckets. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and drop a like on this video. I am trying to hit 100k Fuck! Hello everybody, welcome to Also Rusty Buckets. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and drop a like on this video. I'm trying to hit 100k subscribers on this channel by the end of the year, so your subscription would be much appreciated. I did it. Right? That's the line. I always get one thing wrong. I try to do it fast. Oh well. I might include the fuck up because I thought it was kind of funny. Another award video. These have not been doing well, but I've committed to doing them, so I'm gonna do it anyway. Most improved player. I didn't actually write as many names down for this as you might expect, just because I didn't really think, it's harder to pick candidates for this award because part of most improved player is a lot of the time a player just comes completely out of the woodwork. I don't think a lot of people were picking Julius Randle to win this award going into last season, and then he became the obvious pick as the year progressed. So I do think that's just the situation with the award is, in all honesty, the top three candidates, maybe one or two of these names ends up being a part of it. So with that said, here are the names that I put down. I'll go ahead and list the question mark ones that I put for my list of players in all of these categories. I have 6-man left. I put a bunch of question marks next to them for the ones that are will that really happen? The first one's Larry Markkanen. I put him because I feel like a lot of people will put him. I don't think he's going to win the award, period. I just don't. I hate to say it because Larry Markkanen was one of my favorite players for a couple of years, but Larry Markkanen's not good. He's just simply not. And I don't think there's going to be much more opportunity for him in Cleveland than what he had before. There's even a chance he's coming off of the bench. He's being utilized purely as a shooter, so don't think he wins that award. But I figured I'd throw his name in the pot just because some people are going to say he should be mentioned. Another one, which I think is someone who's not going to go mentioned, but I put question marks next to him, is Marvin Bagley. And the reason he's even on here is just the fact that he's been injured so much that I feel like some people have dismissed the notion of Marvin Bagley being a good NBA player, but he's been pretty solid enough, at least offensively, in the time that he's played. He's just played so infrequently. So if he got a stroke of luck and was just lucky for a full season and didn't get injured, and he was a little bit more looked at in Sacramento and he was able to play every game or something like that, maybe he has the proper opportunity to be a 18 point per game scorer, up from a 12 or 13, I think, is his career average right now. And he could get his name in the conversation. That said, entirely contingent on being healthy, and he's shown thus far that that's not really likely. So that's why there's question marks there. Another one is Tyrese Maxey. I think with Ben Simmons gone, if they don't trade for another guard, Tyrese Maxey probably starts. And if Tyrese Maxey is the starting point guard, I honestly think he averages 18 points per game this season. Especially because they're going to need sources of offense. Not that Ben Simmons was much of a scorer, but Tyrese is less of a playmaker, so just for offense overall, he'd be the third scoring option, and I think he would work well in that situation. The problem with that is that he's a second-year player, and second-year players almost never win Most Improved Player. The last one that I can think of is Gilbert Arenas. I know there is 2 or 3 other examples, but just in general, second-year players don't really win the award because they're expected to make a leap. In general, I think that's the rule of thumb. I think there can be extreme cases where you are in that contention. I used to outright dismiss the notion of winning the award as a second-year player, but there are some instances where a player is just a complete unknown in their first year, and then their second year, bam, completely different, way better player. And I think at that point, sure, your name is valid in that race, but I don't think Tyrese Maxey will make enough of a leap, even if I think he could get his name in the conversation to really win it. And then the last one with question marks is Malik Monk. And the reason why I have question marks for him is just because I think the reason he would win this award would be the fact that he plays for the Lakers. But the thing is, his numbers from last year I don't think will be drastically different this year. If he got up to 15, 16 points per game, continued to shoot really well from 3, I believe he averaged 11 last year. So not really that much of a leap, and he shot well from 3 last year, so I don't think that he'd quite get there, but I think just by the fact that he's on the Lakers, his name will get thrown in the race more. If you want to see a video talking about how annoying the fact that that's a thing kind of is, you can go watch my main channel video called The Lakers Media Machine, which sounds so much like a conspiracy or angry rant about the Lakers specifically, but it's really just about how sports coverage works. But anyways, getting on to the names that I think have a real shot. These are the 4. I really only have 4 guys that I'm like, oh yeah, definitely they can have their name in the race. Those are OG Anunoby of the Toronto Raptors, Wendell Carter Jr. of the Magic, Miles Bridges of the Charlotte Hornets, and Michael Porter Jr. And actually, now that I've said Miles Bridges, let me throw Mikal Bridges into that race as well. I think he has a shot as well, just because he showed some shot creating ability in the playoffs last year, and I think if he's potentially given more opportunity there, he could get to like 17-ish points a game. What does he average for last year? I think it was like 13 or something. I don't know. I think he can get in the conversation there as well. But looking at these guys individually, Miles Bridges I think is one of the most interesting cases, and honestly, he might be tied with OG Anunoby for me for this award, just because Miles averaged about 20 points per game last year for the last like 25, 30 games or so. And that was after Gordon Hayward had an injury and LaMelo wasn't playing, and there was just more opportunity to score the ball for him. And he averaged those 20 on good efficiency. Like, he wasn't like out there chucking shots. He averaged an efficient 20 points per game over a long stretch of NBA basketball. The reason why I would pick OG over Miles is just simply opportunity, because Gordon Hayward's going to be back, LaMelo's going to be back, and there's going to be less shots available for Miles Bridges. I think on a different team, Miles could be a borderline star caliber player based on that stretch. Granted, it's a small enough sample size that I wouldn't say that guaranteed, but I don't think it's going to happen on the Hornets, so that's why I would give OG the edge in winning this award, which I guess I kind of gave that away without talking about the other candidates, but whatever. Michael Porter Jr., if he averages the numbers that he did in the second half of last season after Jamal Murray got hurt for a full season, that wouldn't be as big of an improvement as I think you might need, because I believe he averaged 18 on crazy efficiency, and for that second half of the season last year, he averaged 22 on crazy efficiency. So like a 4-point increase, continuing great efficiency. I don't know that's quite enough of a leap to really win the award. And then Wendell Carter Jr., I actually need to look into his basketball reference, because I don't know if there was a drastic difference between what he averaged with the Bulls versus what he averaged with the Magic. I'll be real, I probably watched 5 or 6 games with Wendell on the Magic, I believe, including a game versus the Bulls. But yeah, his numbers were not very different, about 12 points, 9 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 1 block, and passable efficiency, and missing 3-pointers, which is what he does. Anyways, I think this year, especially if he's given more minutes, because he only averaged 26 minutes a game last year, part of the reason he plays so few minutes is that he has a fouling issue. But if he's able to clean that up a little bit and get to like 30 minutes of action a game, I think he could, on top of the fact that there's just very few offensive options for Orlando, he could get to like 15 and 10, really good defense, and maybe there's more of a spotlight on his defense, because Wendell's always been a good defensive player, but I don't know that there's enough of a leap there. And then is that all I have? Yeah, I think, and then the last is OG Anunoby, of course, who I said I think I was going to win the award. OG took a significant leap last year. In fact, let me pull up his stats just so I can illustrate that completely properly. I believe I have the numbers right, but I'll just confirm it. He shot 40% from 3, which was only a 1% increase from the season prior. However, he doubled his attempts, and his points per game went from 10 to 16. And he even became a little bit more of a playmaker, even though it's a minor thing. But he increased his scoring average, he increased his 3-point volume by double, and maintained the efficiency doing so. And I honestly think he can just repeat the same process again, except the difference there really is like, I might actually make a video about this, kind of. Not really. I might mention it in passing at some point and make a tangent on it, as I'm kind of doing right now. But like, there's something very pleasing to the mind of 20 points per game, even though averaging 20 isn't what it used to be. There used to be 10 players who average 20, and now there's like 30 players who average 20. But there's something about averaging 20 points per game that is very pleasing to your brain, and I think he'll get to 20 points per game this year. And as silly as that might sound, going from 10 to 16, I don't think is as impressive or as going to be as looked at as much as going from 16 to 20 to 21 or 22. So if he makes that leap offensively, which I think he's capable of, every year he's come in a better offensive player. His 3-ball early in his career was and it's been great in the last 2 years of his career. His ball handling is a serious thing. His finishing is really good. The only thing that will hold OG back as a scorer is the fact that his pull-up shooting is just not natural. And he's one of those shooters where he's a little bit stiff and he's more of a set shooter, and because of that, like the flow that you need, I don't know how, this sounds dumb. I need to explain this better. Like the rhythm that you need to have a smooth pull up doesn't really exist within OG's jump shot. So that's the one thing that's going to hold him back as a scorer. But I think slashing, ball handling, being a big forward who can dribble, the really good 3-point shot if he increases his volume by like 2 or 3 more attempts per game, the fact that he's a pretty good post player when he gets a switch on him, and the fact that Toronto needs more offense because Kyle Lowry's not there, I think there's going to be opportunity for him. So yeah, those are my thoughts on most improved player. I would give the award to OG Anunoby. And yeah, that's it. Goodbye.